So we're here with Matt, the Jedi Floyd. How are you doing today, champ?
I'm good, brother. How are you, man?
Outstanding but improving. So now, obviously, this is going to be coming out beginning of September. Later on this month, 27th of September, you have the fight of your life with another former world champion in James DeGale. How are you feeling about it?
I'm good, brother. I'm super confident, man. It's a bare knuckle fight. Unfortunately, I keep hearing from everyone I'm suited for bare knuckle, and I'm gonna do great in bare knuckle. I don't like hearing it so much because I'm real passionate about boxing, and I feel like I'll beat the best in the world. But yeah, that's where it's at.
Definitely. And kind of for those who maybe didn't see the viral video that went around, I see you and James have already had a bit of friction at the DKM show during the summer. So how did that come about?
I'm mates with the his manager, who it was his show. I was there, and at first it was supposed to be just like a bit of banter. He called everyone out, and I got in there, and he was all right. Like I think his reaction was real. I thought it was a bit set up, but the end was real. Like obviously, we were trying to get a fight going. Whether it was at that stage, we didn't know what it was, and then I got told to throw the water on him, bro, and then he never got told. Like I thought he knew about it. So fucking that's why everything was real after that. The reaction and him being pissed off, and then me and all that shit. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's definitely built into something. I had loads of people like, following, commenting on that, really excited for the bout. And I think this fight's going to be in Manchester, right? So is this
yeah.
your, I know you've had a couple of bouts, most recently at London O2 against Shane Mosley. This be your first boxing match in Manchester or first fight in Manchester?
It'll be my first fight in Manchester. Yeah, I've been to Manchester, but it'll be my first fight in Manchester. And yeah, first fight to main event headliner. I heard it's a massive arena.
Mm.
Um, it looks like it's going to be sold out. That's sick. So yeah, it's real exciting. It's what I want. I want to fight, on the big shows at the big places against the big, the biggest and the best. That's what I want.
100%. And again, since you've come on to the scene, I feel like the name, Jedi definitely applies because you're using the Force to take on all these world champions. Former Shane Mosley, I was there ringside, a top bout, which again you end up winning against a very skilled operator. Now you're up against James, slightly bigger, but again, bare knuckle rules. What's your experience around like the bare knuckle boxing space or striking without having the gloves to protect those fists?
Well, it's just like street fighting, isn't it? Like bare knuckle. It's pretty much fighting without the gloves on. And I grew up the way I grew up, so I don't like when people ask me this, and I tell them, oh, I've been in heaps of street fights, this and that, because obviously growing up hard and having street fights, it's usually one person fighting against someone else that's not really a great fighter on the street and that. So this is like two of the highest level people going at bare knuckles. So it's definitely a different scenario to your common street fights or whatever.
Mm.
Um, but um, but yeah, I feel very confident just because I guess I'm not going to use the street fights as like, oh, like that was practice or anything, but it obviously gives me a lot more confidence because I've been in all them situations
Mm.
many times. I've grown up that way. Um, and yeah, so I guess I wouldn't say it's made me better as a street fighter because like I said before, it's not two of the highly skilled people going against each other. You most 99% of the time, but it definitely has given me a lot more confidence. I'm very like I feel like I'm going to be in my element. Um, if anyone's watched me box, like you watched the Shane Mosley fight, the biggest thing the corner's always trying to get out of me is the street fight, is the fight out of me. Because I can box really well. I've sparred with, I've boxed with, I've trained with the best in the world, and I feel like I could beat the best in the world. Anyone that's in front of me. So
Mm.
I work really really hard to box when I want to box, and it's obviously good to use a fight when I can, but sometimes I use it too much, which I get in trouble for. So now I won't have a corner telling me off about all that fighting and stuff that I do, and also the fighting that I do when I box, it actually affects. my boxing. There's times where I mess up all my own good work. Like I suffocate my own good work and things like that. So it actually does more damage than good. But now it's going to do just good because that stuff, it really is helpful in these situations. Without the gloves to protect you and things like that.
Definitely. And a great thing here is going to be, streamed on the zone. So that means that there's going to be global appeal. So as much as your fans in the UK, you're also going to have lots of fans in Perth and Australia who are going to be able to sort of tune in and support. How do you feel to be on like the largest sports streaming platform in the world and
I
main
fought,
the main stage here?
I mean, I fought on the zone before a few times. I'm very happy to be fighting on it again. It's what I want, man. It's what I was destined for. I've worked, I've worked really hard to do that, and I want to perform on these shows, and it's really exciting, man. I look forward to it. It's what I want.
Mhm. And so moving forward, again, just to rewind a little bit, our first interview after the um, match between you and James when it kicked off, you spoke and then you mentioned about how everyone has the right to fight. What does it mean to you in terms of like when you said that, like what does that really mean to you in terms of every man has the right to fight? Speak to us a bit more about that.
Fuck, we're gonna have to do a full podcast, bro. This is a how do I give you the short answer here? I grew up in different homes, man. I grew up, uh, a weird way. I mean, it's created what I am today. I was in prison most of my 20s for kidnapping pedophiles. I feel like like I wasn't a saint, man. I definitely deserve to go to jail for the bad things I've done in life. But the kidnapping of pedophiles, I don't think I deserve to go to prison for anything I did to pedophiles. So it's a mixture of things. And then also when I got out of prison, it's been very hard for me, man. All I've been doing is trying to fight, and they stopped me from fighting in my hometown because uh, it was it was like all over. It was well known what I went to prison for, and they made it really hard for me to fight. Um, I had a few fights; it was successful, and then when people were talking about what I did, the problem was it wasn't so much the kidnapping the pedophiles that stopped me from fighting in Perth. It was other people were following, other people were doing it. Not that I asked of any kids to do that or anything like that. I don't want anyone to get in trouble and follow what I did. That's why I'm trying to reach such a high platform to reach awareness so people like kids like myself don't go to prison for that stuff, kids that have been abused and things like that. So it's like, yeah, it's like that they were stopping me from fighting. It's a big, like I said to you, man, it's going to take too long. I can't,
Yeah, no, I get it.
it's a very, I feel like every man has the right to fight. They've stopped me many times from fighting. I've had to travel, all around the world to fight. Like my fight, you wouldn't even believe it. Like the things I've had to do to get these fights to make it to where I've got to today. Every fight I've had, not just the training for it and the injuries and the sleepless nights and that. I've had to fight to fight to fight. I've had not just the normal hurdles that every fighter gets. I've had other hurdles like they wouldn't let me leave, or I wouldn't even know if I was going to the UK, and I couldn't tell the UK that I couldn't come because they never would have accepted the fight in the first place. And there's been times where they wouldn't let me leave and until the day before and things like that. Like I've every time I've had a fight, I've had to fight to fight to fight to fight. I
Mm,
guess I can't give you the full answer either because there's a lot more to my story, and I'll probably tell that another day. But there's more, to all of this. So
definitely.
yeah,
I completely get it there. So it's not just necessarily the physical right to fight, but even just fighting for your goals in terms of the fight before the fight and never giving up, that never give up mentality.
yeah, it's always that many hurdles, man. It's not just the normal things. There's other stuff on top of the normal things that fight all fight. I can whinge about the normal things. I mean, every fighter, goes through stuff where they have an injury or they didn't sleep the night before, or they're sick, or they have anxiety, whatever. There's or even this last fight, they told me at midnight the night before the fight that I wasn't, the fight might be off, and I was dealing with that the whole week. Was the fight on? Was it not? It was very psychological. But that's not something to whinge about because every fighter goes through this shit, right? But I've had to go through other things on top of that. I've had to, get on boats to fucking places to get a fight. I've had to there's all sorts of shit which I'll talk about another day.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm always fighting. I will never give up. I'll keep going. Like I was talking about when I was in prison. It was my dream to do what I'm doing now. And since I've been out, I think I got out in 2018 or something. All I've been doing is fighting to fight to fight, and I've been, like I should have had over 100 fights by now if I had it my way. But I've only had the amount of fights I've had because every single fight there's been an issue. I've had to fight, to leave the state or whatever, as in where I am from my hometown, and yeah,
Well, again, it's a story of inspiration, and also it's a message, to all the other fighters out there that, you know, that we all face obstacles, but it's continuing to fight to make your dream come true. Because as you said, like right now you're in Perth, you're in Perth, right, Australia?
yeah.
Perth, do you know what I mean? So we're literally on the other sides of the planet, but still promoting your upcoming fight coming in Manchester, September 27th, and you're still training and doing everything possible to make it happen. So, like, final question here. So, again, you are up against one of Britain's finest talents in James DeGale, former Olympic gold medalist, former super middleweight world champion. So, let's say all going well, you have a good match. What's to be expected from this fight, and what are you hoping for? Sort of what's next after you kind of have your bout with James?
We're always talking about other bigger fights. If like once I've beaten James, if they offer me something bigger and better on BKFC, obviously that's what I'll do. Otherwise, if they give me something bigger in the boxing world, which is where I'm very passionate about too, making it, that's what I'll do, man. But it has to be, I'm just gonna keep thriving to the top. So
Yeah. So you're a free agent. So if let's say if BKFC want to do another fight, you can work with them. But similarly, if let's say other promotions or organizations wanting to get you on board, there's room for discussion and to be able to make that happen.
absolutely, man. And if they look after me, like I took this fight, I didn't ask. I just said, yep, yep, yep. I agree to everything. I'll show loyalty where it's given to me. And I want obviously, if I do the right things here, which I will want the bigger and better fights. Um, it's as simple as that, really.
Love that. And so, final word, what's the prediction? September 27th. Talk us through it. So, you know how I always go back to that Ali versus Frazier when I'm not sure if you've seen the Ali movie, but where he's doing an interview and he's kind of speaking about how the fight will go against Frazier. And he's like, um, Ali takes a step forward and Frazier starts to retreat. If he takes another step back, he's going to end up in a ringside seat. Ali, so not necessarily to be as poetic as the greatest in Ali, but how do you see this fight coming about? What do you see the outcome being, and how would it go?
I wouldn't even try. I could never. I don't think. I could never be able to do anything that Ali, has done or anything like that, or say, or speak anything like. Yeah. But how I think the fight's going to go is, I think like he's just not going to want to be there, man. Like he doesn't know what this is. It's going to be very different. I think he really believes uh, in his boxing, which he's proven. But it's just two completely different sports, and he's gonna, find out the hard way, unfortunately. He's not going to want to be there. It's not even close to boxing. It's just not the same. He's not going to be able to box his way out of there. He's not, like you can do things in boxing where you can get out of certain situations and you can stop them from cutting the ring off. You just can't with this. It's a proper fight. Like it's just, yeah, he's going to have to fight. I'm very surprised. He took it. To be honest, I thought it was he was just talking shit. I thought he just wanted to maybe box again. Obviously he's not afraid of boxing, but this is a different thing. Fuck knows why he's doing it, but good on him.
Yeah, no,
It's good for
massive.
me, isn't it?
Well, again, massive respect to him for taking it, and big respect for
Yeah,
you for taking it as well, because it's, you know, both of you are going to face your unique challenges. Him in terms of boxing or fighting without the gloves, in terms of bare knuckle, and for yourself being in the ring with such a skilled operator. I know that you did with Shane, but again, as you said, boxing is not the same as bare knuckle. So when you get
not
those,
even close. They're not even close, man. Not even close. It's two completely different things. And
yeah.
I've learned that because I've had heaps of fights in the past, and I've had to kind of boxing, and I learned that when I did that, and now I'm going back to it. I'm training all the same ways that you would in a street fight. I've completely trained my training. I'm not asking for advice from anyone, from
Mhm.
any boxing trainers especially, because it's just not the same thing. I'm doing my own training. I'm doing my own sort of rounds. I'm speaking to people about different drills that you can do to cater around fucking street fighting. Like it's just I'm doing all 2 minute rounds now. I was getting ready for I was ready for 12 3 minute rounds a few weeks ago against Shane.
Mm.
But everything's different, man. It's all about being first, and it's a sprint now, and yeah, it's completely fucking different. But I've adapted fast, man. I've been doing this for I think what 10 days now, and I'm like I got the gist of it, bro. Like within the first few days, it's pretty natural to me. All this stuff.
Amazing. Well, again, really looking forward to seeing you when you get back to the UK. Massive good luck with your preparation. Hope it all goes smoothly, and look forward to seeing it September 27th live on the Zone, headlining the Jedi Floyd versus James Chunky DeGale.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
Always a pleasure, champ.
Yeah, you too, brother.